Here's a great technique when you're looking for a visual texture to place on your cup to break up any patterns, any glitter transitions, or vinyl to glitter transitions that you have on your cup. A little bit of a different flair. This is an old technique that a lot of the hand calligraphers and paper crafters use, and I figured why not put this on a cup. As you can see, I made a skin here and put it right down the middle of my cup. It did not fully wrap from top to bottom to cover those voided spaces. On the top of my tumbler, I have Take the Lead, and on the bottom I have HYPNOTIC. So here in the middle, you can see that there is some spots where the stainless steel is peeking through. I am perfectly okay with that. I knew exactly what I was gonna do with this. In fact, I'll let you in on a little secret, I kind of made it to where it was gonna have a little bit of peek through and give me a little bit of these like flowing, sort of organic lines. So instead of using a straight cut vinyl, I wanted to add that same metallic flair, but with some visual texture. Instead of getting my foil, instead of getting my vinyl, I went for the embossing powdered look. I was really excited to play with this. I actually did a video on this one and showed some of the resin members in my Facebook group how we use our pigment paste to create skins. This is the exact one that we made, and I told everybody that I was going to be putting this on a cup. So here we have it, and isn't it gorgeous? Let's go ahead and let's put some embossing powder on here, and we're gonna have a lot of fun. Step number 1, place the glue. So I tried using the marker. It really didn't work for me. I don't know if I felt because it didn't give me enough coverage and I felt like I was going over it and then it was wiping it off. And it didn't matter how much I pressed or how much I went over, it still didn't give me enough coverage. I think this is meant for paper or maybe for fine details, or I don't know. I just didn't like the coverage that it gave me. I wanted it to be very flooded and very bold. So I only gave it a couple tries. My favorite technique was the straight from the bottle. And I feel like the dropper was intended for me to use it as such. So that is how we're gonna use it. I really liked it. It spread very well. I was able to see how much was coming out. I felt in control. And now I'm just gonna fill it in. So all this little area right here that is silver, you can see the stainless steel popping through. We're just gonna color that in, spread this glue so it's not too thick, because if it's too thick, I think it will dry kind of bumpy. So I wanna make sure it's nice and even and spread out. And just to be clear, this is embossing glue. You'll definitely want to make sure that you are using embossing glue and not regular glue. This can be found on Amazon or your local craft store. Next, drop your powder. This stuff is super thin and it's super light, so I am gonna use my little scooper, my tiny little scooper here to drop and be precise where I drop it because I don't wanna just dump this everywhere. You can also find these tiny little scoops in my online store. And I'm just gonna go ahead and clean this up with a little bit of alcohol here on my brush because I wanna make sure that just in case I got messy, or I wanna make sure it stays where I want it to melt. So let's clean it up. And last step, apply heat. I'm kind of nervous about keeping my heat gun in one particular spot for too long because I don't want it to melt my epoxy. This epoxy is fairly new, fairly fresh. So you'll see me turning it from side to side. But once it starts to turn, you'll see when your gold powder goes from like a powder flake form to a solid foil film. It's like magic. Like it happens like within a blink of an eye. And there you see it. You see how it looks like liquid gold. And then we're gonna drop some down, nice and controlled. I'll clean it up a little bit and we're gonna hit it again the same fashion. Gaining a little bit more confidence with my control here. And I'm just following these nice little organic lines that my skin has left me. And we're gonna go all around the cup, top and bottom. And if you're wondering what this contraption is that I am spinning my cup on, this is the Preponator. It's a manual wheel for your cup, and it's fabulous if you are doing lots of detail on your cup, or if you're doing rhinestones on your cup, something that requires you to slowly work on bits of your cup at a time. It really allows you to have the control of spinning your cup. This is not a new technique. This is just another form of getting that metallic finish. And I really like this because it's not so perfect. This is really good for geodes if you want to get that foil look. It's kind of in the middle of the smooth yet the texture. So on one spectrum, you have the flakes that gives you a lot of texture, and then you have the liquid gold that gives you smooth texture. This is kind of the middle of the road right here. Try your hand at this, see what you think, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have not subscribed, please do, and give me a thumbs up. Until then, I will see you later. Bye.